Revelation chapter 18, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. I like to give all praise, honor, and immense glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to my other apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world called God or Jehovah. His true name is Yahweh, and his only begotten Son is Yahushai. All right, which the word Yahweh means he is, and his son's name is Yahushai, which means he will deliver. Okay, and that's who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And they both look like so-called Negroes, all right, according to the scriptures. Okay, now this is Revelation chapter 18, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, all right? And it's talking about America. It's a future prophecy towards America, also known as Babylon in the scriptures, okay? The whore that sitteth upon the beast, which the beast represents Esau's system. It represents Esau's, the rest of his empire, okay? And that capital, Basra, is America, which is that whore that sitteth upon the beast. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. All right. So America is going to be burned with fire. All right. How's it going to be burned with fire? Well, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse, let me see. Second Ezra chapter 16. I'll start at verse 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. The bow represents the silos. His arrows that shooteth are sharp. Those are the ICBMs, and shall not miss. When the ICBMs come out of those silos, be shot, up to the atmospheres and coming towards America. That's the target. That he shooteth are sharp. His arrows that shooteth are sharp, and he shall not miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again, until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. All right? And that fire is going to engulf America when them ICBMs hit. Okay? When them ICBMs hit, it's going to engulf this place. All right? Bear with me for 1 second. Okay? Looking up a scripture. Bear with me for 1 second. Looking up a scripture on my laptop, because the scriptures mention how 200,000. All right. Let me read one more before I get that. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archery turneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be set upon earth shall not return again. That last plague will be them ICBMs. That's why Yahushua is going to say, come out of my people and receive not of her plagues. That ultimate plague is the ICBMs, that nuclear fire. All right. It's not going to be 1 or 2 or even 100 ICBMs, not even 1,000. No, it's actually going to be 200 million. All right. Remember, one ICBM, one warhead contains about, I don't know the exact number, but it's numerous. Okay. You can have many warheads or many explosives in that one warhead. Okay, so Revelation 9, verse, let me see, 16. And it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000 and thousand. And I heard the number of them. Right. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. That's the warhead. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay. Those are the ICBMs, 200,000. You see? So the brimstone is being that warhead. By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. Just get a picture of an ICBM. All right. By it's like it says, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And remember, the prophets were, describing the missiles to the best of their ability because they didn't have this type of technology back then. Okay. All right. So that's the, it says the horsemen, those ICBMs. All right. Now, if you ever seen a herd of horses galloping, through a field, all right, those missiles are all going to be shot off. All right. Flying through the atmosphere, reaching America. All right. And they're going to fly in order, they're going to fly, they're going to be in their ranks. Okay. Again, it's not going to be one. It's not going to be two. It's going to be 200,000. All right. 200 million. Okay. Let me see. I believe that's in Joel, second chapter. This whole chapter goes into the ICBMs. All right. Joel 2, verse 2. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds. Actually, let me start at verse 1. Salah. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. The same day the Lord returns, Yahushua, will be the same day that this place gets nuked by ICBMs. That's when he's going to deliver that small remnant, all right? The elect, the 1/3, okay? And he's gonna come back on what you call a UFO, a chariot, doing two things: laser beaming the infrastructure and you wicked souls, you wicked people. And that's why it says in Isaiah the 66th chapter, how the Lord shall come back, all right, in a fire of whirlwind, all right. The rebuke. Actually, let me get it. I don't want to butcher it. Okay. Isaiah 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots, you see, like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by a sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So the Lord's going to come back to kill and deliver, all right? But kill, all right? Shoot people with laser beams. A good depiction is that movie with Tom Cruise, World of War or War of Worlds. All right, when them tripods came out, started laser beaming people. You see, it says a day of darkness and of gloominess. It's not gonna be a happy day. It's gonna be the most dreadful day ever, man. Nothing like it ever. All right. A day of clouds and a thick darkness as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Right? All right, because them ICBMs are going to be the icing on the cake. That's going to destroy this whole infrastructure. All right, and when the Lord comes back and beams up the elect, they're going to come back down as gods upon the earth and put subjection, all right, on the inhabitants of this earth. the heathen, the 2/3 will be wiped out. All right, the rebellious of the nation Yasha'Allah, you rebellious Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds abroad. Okay. But after that, it's going to be no more war, you know, none of that. No more war, none of these tanks, these other militaries, because the Lord's going to wipe them out. These ICBMs, the reason why they were created, their sole purpose was to destroy America. And America's going to shoot off missiles as well. Best believe Israel and over there, in the Middle East, okay, Israel is going to be nuked, all right? Certain parts of Russia, you see, okay? It says, verse 3, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden, before them and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, you see? Going back to Revelation 9, verse 16. And as horsemen, so shall they run. So that's a precept. All right, the horsemen symbolizing the ICBMs. Okay, like the noise of chariots. Okay, but it says, going back to verse 3, let me just elaborate. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, all right? Because America is a beautiful land, or once upon a time, everything is being destroyed in this earth, okay? But America was once a beautiful land, all right? And behind them, a desolate wilderness. And this place will turn to a desolate wilderness after a long time of it being on fire. And after the fire settles, it will be a huge desert. Yea, and nothing shall escape them, all right? So if you're in America and you're not marked for deliverance, you're going to be destroyed. Everything shall melt, as the scriptures say. People are going to melt. Cars are going to melt, all right? They say one nuclear missile, I believe, is hotter than the sun, Hey, just look at that movie with Terminator, the second one, Judgment Day. How Sarah had that dream, and she was burning, Well, hey, the scriptures say people are actually going to melt, not just burn, but melt. Okay. And verse 4, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run, right? Because when they're flying in the air, again, the prophets were describing it to the best of their ability, but that's how, it was seen, all right? Like horses galloping through a field. The missiles are all going to be in rank, okay? 200,000, 200,000 missiles flying in the air, making its way towards America. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pain, all faces shall gather blackness. When people see that, they're going to be in trouble. People are literally, man, they're not going to know what to do. It's going to be the worst feeling ever. All right. You ever had like an anxiety attack, a panic attack? It's going to be like that times 1,000. People are going to just be so heartbroken, so terrified. They won't be able to move, And this is real, man. This is real. And this is why we're making our call and election sure, because we don't want none of that. All right. And we are moving by faith that Yahweh Shah is going to deliver us, man. It says, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. Because that fire, all right, that fire is going to engulf everything, man, in its path. When the missiles hit, you can just see us go on YouTube, watch what you call a simulation. All right. They say first when that missile hits, what kills a lot of people actually is that sonic wave. that radiation wave, and then the fire comes. Okay. So this is gonna be very devastating, man. A sonic wave right there is gonna kill a lot of people. All right. Man, cracked skulls, you know, it's gonna be very devastating, man. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Right? That fire is gonna engulf everything. All right, and what comes out of fire is smoke. Okay. The earth is gonna shake, it's gonna rock to and fro like a drunkard from that impact. You know, when the missiles hit the ground. All right, nuclear missiles. You know, a nuclear man that's gonna shake the earth, and then imagine the volcanoes, the tectonic plates shifting. It's gonna be a disastrous, dreadful day. All right, the whole earth is gonna shake. Tsunamis are gonna be formed, volcanoes erupting. That's why John the Revelator said he saw a new heaven and a new earth. The landmass is gonna change, just like in the flood, how everything was one land. All right, Eden, Idan in the Hebrew, paradise. And then everything split. That's why they say you can put the continents together like a puzzle piece, because it was together at one point, formed together. Okay, so this is going to change, man. That's going to change geographical locations, form new land. All right, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. And this is the Lord's army. Oh yeah, this is the Most High's army. He penned the minds of this devil to create this. All right, as it says in what? Let me get it real quick. Isaiah 54, verse 16. It says, behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. A smith is someone who makes weapons. The coals that let me read again. It says, behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. That's the ICBMs. And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. All right, the ICBMs, man. Okay. It says, verse 11, Joel 2, verse 11, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executed his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? And going back to real quick, Isaiah 54, verse 16, just elaborate. The Lord penned these minds, these nuclear scientists to create these missiles. All right, starting with the atom bomb. Splitting the atom. Okay, just had to elaborate on that. And all these nations now have nuclear scientists, and they all have nuclear capabilities. All right. That's why the next chapter says, prepare for war. And these nations are preparing for war. They're putting down the plowshare. All right. The pruning hook. Those are agriculture devices. And they're picking up sword and spear, which is basically they're investing more into their military might. That's why they're doing trades with each other, trading off with military weapons, preparing for war. You got these NATO drills. All right, the Gurga troops. All right, they're all preparing for war, man. It says, verse 11, and the Lord shall verse 12. It says, therefore also now said the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And that was it. Okay. But Revelation 18. Okay. Verse 9 now. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's going to happen in the future. That's a future prophecy when America gets nuked. They're going to see the smoke of her burning. All right. You know, standing afar off for the fear of for torment, saying, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. All right. They're going to see this place on fire. And that's the future for America. We'll be nuked, man. All right. It's not going to live on forever. It's going to be nuked. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and immense glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to my apostles, a great millstone, peace and citation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.